And at the time I was doing, my marketing was content. So it was also like very social media. And I was just done because like that way I can't take my social media breaks. And if there's someone that loves social media breaks, my God, like I just want to disappear. So I really appreciate the fact that you're giving me a chance here, but like I'm not happy.
You need to think about writing something, or doing something about like how to manage school and work,
and fail at it woefully. And I just got like my last rejection. This job was my only hope.
Oh.
And I just sat down on the chair and I cried. And I was like, God, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to go back to Nigeria?
Like, fees are in view. Going back to Nigeria is also in. Hi, you're welcome to another episode of Lekki to London, a series where I have conversations with African designers who have moved to Europe and are living and working from there. On today's episode, I have a very special guest. She's a young designer who I personally look up to, and she has finished studying from a university here in England and currently works with JPMorgan as a designer. Hi everyone, meet Derin.
Hi.
How are you, Derin?
Fine. I think I'm feeling very aligned today.
That's good.
Feeling very accomplished.
Wow,
like,
what did you do this morning?
I cleaned my house. I did my dishes. And I started to like wear makeup as well. So yeah.
You look fantastic, by the way.
Thank you.
I'm really, really happy to have you here.
Oh my God, thank you. I'm happy to be here as well.
All right, let's get right into it. So tell me about what growing up was like for you from literally when you were born. I want to hear everything from when you were born to your first interaction with what you would call design.
Okay, that's a good question because like I don't think I've ever really sat down to like answer that question myself. So I'm answering it for the first time. I think growing up, I had quite an interesting upbringing from my parents. I think they did a relatively good job, allowed us out early enough, like as at 12, 13, we lived in Ogun State, but I was already going to Lagos by myself.
Interesting. At 13?
Yeah. Like my mom would allow us to go. There was one time where my secondary school, every December, we would meet at like ICM, that's Ikeja City Mall. And there was one I really wanted to go. My elder sister wanted to go. I think she was in JS 3 and I was in JS 1. Or she was in SS1 and I was in JS 2 because we're 2 years apart in school. And we told our parents and you're like, okay, we're going to drop you here and you're going to find your way there.
Nice.
Just make sure you call me. And that was very exciting. So like I think my mom allowed us to go out early enough, like experience the world, make your choices, make your mistakes, which I'm very appreciative of right now because I think I have made a lot of my mistakes in the past and now I just have like a clear head of like what I want to do, who I am, myself and all those things. So like and my parents were just like there for like us at the time they needed to, and I went to a boarding house as well. So like I had to.
Was it in Lagos or in Ogun State?
In Ogun State.
Okay.
So like I was in boarding house for 6 years, so I had to do a lot of growing up because like your parents are not here to fight for you.
I went to boarding house as well. I can really.
They're not here to support you. So like I had to do a lot of growing up early. So yeah, I think that's like a high level summary.
Okay. And after boarding house, at that time, what did you want to become? I don't know if you wanted to become a designer. What was your aspiration?
I wanted to be a medical doctor, of course.
Twins.
Of course. You know, like I remember when I wanted to take Jambia. It was I think chemistry, biology, physics, and English.
Yeah.
But like people that wanted to do computer science were taking maths.
Further maths as well.
And you know, at that time I was like, why are you gonna be writing maths when you can just, do English? And but I got 217 in my JAMB.
Nice.
And I was applying to University of Ibadan at the time. And obviously if you're going to study medicine, they're not gonna
what was the score for?
I think it was almost like maybe like 250 and above or 280 and things like that. And my dad was like, do you want to do A-levels at EAC? I think it's a place in Ibadan. Or do you want to change like what the uni you want to go to? And my elder sister at the time was at FUNAB.
Okay.
So she was like, you can come to my school. There's a course called nutrition and dietetics. Like you can do it. It's similar to medicine.
I don't know why they say these things because someone also told me that marine biology was similar to medicine. So did you take the nutrition and dietetics?
Yeah, so I was like, okay, she's like, it's even 4 years. You don't have to spend so long in uni and things like that. And I was like, Let me think about. Sounds like a good option.
Yeah.
I can easily just opt for that. So I switched to like FUNAB, put in for nutrition and dietetics. Then I got in and
you studied that for 4 years.
Yeah, so I did nutrition and dietetics for 4 years in my undergrad. In my second year of uni, I picked up blogging. I wasn't consistent, of course. Most inconsistent sister.
But because of the other things, we'll get to it, so don't worry.
Yeah, so but I picked up blogging. I had to learn a couple of things like SEO, how social media works. I read a lot of blog loving at the time as well. It's a blog that like they put a lot of bloggers together.
Okay.
Yes, then so I was literally like that was literally like content for me, right? Then from there, in my final year in uni.
So you did blogging from your second year to your final?
Yeah, it's like my final year in uni. And my sister had sent me this job opening from She Leads Africa. I was in 400 level second semester.
Okay.
And she's like, I think you should apply for this.
What are they hiring for?
Content intern.
Okay.
Right? So she's like, I think you should apply for this. I was like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. I called OK because like we're living close to each other. And then
what year was
this? This was our final year in uni. So like we put in the application, it did some graphics for me with Photoshop, whatever. Then we put in the application together. So I just prayed, God, let me get the job. It would be nice, you know. And I got in.
Nice.
I got the job with She Leads Africa. So I was doing my final year project with alongside working for She Leads Africa. It was part-time. So I think I was working between maybe 2 to 5 or 1 to 5. It was 4 hours per day. Right? So it was 20 hours.
And you were doing this while you were still in uni doing your final
year doing my final year exams and final year project as well. It was quite an
That must have been a lot.
Yes, you know, I was literally living off energy drink because I wasn't completing assignments in school. I need to mention that part because and I feel like my uni mates were judging me.
But look at you now.
Because okay, I'll get to that. Okay. So I would just turn in my assignment, however, whatever I finished. Because there was one we had to turn in every Friday. Whatever I write there, I would just submit it like that. And it was just had to juggle the 3. And somehow I finished anyway. And I think I finished uni at the time in January or February of 2020 because of the old strike thing. I finished secondary school in 2015. Yeah, quite early. It's not been so long. Yeah, I finished secondary school in 2015 because it was a federal uni. I got into uni in January of 2016.
Yeah.
Yes, then strike and etc. I finished
January 2020.
Yeah, like January, February 2020. And in March, I was resuming a new job because I'd finished my She Leads Africa job was for like 3 to 4 months ish. And I was resuming Kudi. It's an agent banking.
What were you resuming as at Kudi?
As a content marketing intern.
Okay, so from content intern to content marketing intern, okay.
Yes, so, and they were so excited to have me on their team actually. Yeah, then I was there for a couple of months. I joined them in March, then COVID started and we had to start working from home. And before then, I'd been reading about like user experience and I knew I was going to make that transition. I just didn't know when. Then when I got to Kudi, it was an eye-opener for me, right? Like, oh, so I can actually do product design as a career. Like there's a path in companies where you can be a designer.
When you joined Kudi was an eye-opener for you. What were the things at Kudi that made you see like, okay, there's something that I could do here? What were the things going on there?
I think it was just seeing how people worked, interacting with people, seeing the different departments in a company. And I was like, oh, okay, I don't have to really do marketing. At the time I was doing, my marketing was content. So it was also like very social media. And I was just done because like that way I can't take my social media breaks. And if there's someone that loves social media breaks, my God, like I just want to disappear. So like I couldn't do that because this is literally my job and I have to. So I'm literally
there.
Yeah, so even if I'm off my own, I'm on someone else's. Yeah, I'm still working. So I had to find a way out. So I said, okay, I'll take user experience design. I'll just switch to like product design anyway. And okay, I was a designer as well.
Yeah,
so that also helped. Yes. And it was also very exciting. I said like, okay, I want to like switch to design. I was like, oh my God, yes, I'm going to have a partner doing my thing.
That's interesting because at this time I already knew you, but I didn't even know that you were not even in design at this time.
No, design. Yeah, so, okay, yeah, so that was that.
Oh, that's really amazing. So from uni, you were studying nutrition and you had like a content intern job, and you had a content marketing intern job, and then you moved into design.
Yes.
So go on.
Okay, and how I actually moved into design was when COVID happened. I was home, so I had a lot more time, that commuting time, because I was living in Bagada in Lagos.
Yeah.
And Kudi was at Lekki.
I can imagine.
And I had to, make
shuffle.
Yes, and you'd be in traffic, like, it was just a lot. But when COVID happened, I had time. So I would wake up like 8 a.m. No, actually 6 a.m. to like 8 a.m. I would take my Udacity UX design course. So I would take a shower, do all those things, eat. Then 9 a.m. I'll start my 9 to 5. About around 5 I would end. I'll go running. I'll come back. Between 8 to 11 I would take my UX design course.
Interesting.
Then I'll go to bed. So it was like
round the clock.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like I finished that course in UX design on Udacity, and the way that course is structured, you get to build a project as you're taking the course. So I built my first project basically, and I had it in my Notion portfolio, and that was where I used to land my first software design job.
Wow.
With UBA.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you did you were doing your 9 to 5, and then you were also having to study after your 9 to 5.
Yeah.
And the projects that you were doing during your course was what you used to get a job at UBA.
Yes.
That's amazing.
I know. And see, when I started job searching, and also like during this period, I was also trying to make a switch internally at Kudi. I was like, can I go to product design? But they didn't want to release me from marketing. They were like, no, you're really good. I want to keep you there. I want to go, And so they had to be like, no, you can't leave marketing. Like, even if you want to do design, you're going to have to do both. And I'm like,
that would be really hard.
Yeah, because like marketing was already very exhausting. I mean, I liked it. I liked my team, but I was just tired, to be fair. So when they didn't want to let me go, I turned in a resignation letter. At the time, I was living with my sisters as well. So I was like, what's the worst that would happen? My elder sister is working. I would just not eat. I would not do anything. I would just be taking my course. And so I would just be like a financial responsibility to her, since I wasn't working and I wasn't earning and things like that. So, but I resigned anyway, because for me it was more like,
you knew what you wanted.
Yeah,
so
it was a little bit of a calculated move, right? I didn't know when I would get the next job, but I knew that like if I took this step back to like take my product design course, I can potentially get something very good for me.
Yeah.
Yes. And at the time, should I mention that they were paying me 70K at Kudi as an intern?
Wow.
And I landed my product design job with UBA in October
2020.
Yeah, October 2020. It was like the week OK Pass was the week I was like signing the contract and things like as a Monday, it passed on a Wednesday. As a Monday, we're still like talking about it. It was still telling me like what to say, what not to say.
That must have been really hard.
Yeah. And on Wednesday after it, they used to send me the contracts. Like that was like very hurtful. But anyways, so yeah, and they were going to pay me times 4+.
That's like over 200K.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I was like, yeah, that's a good move. I'm glad I made that decision. Yeah, so like that's how I got into design basically.
So at that point, when the person, your partner essentially had passed away, and both of you were going through this process together, what was the thing that made you, still very convicted about going into the path? Because at that point, you could have made a decision to, do something else, or, just taking the grief that you were experiencing and not wanting to move further.
Yeah, I think at the time, I just knew that I couldn't go back to marketing. I think I was just done with that period of my life with marketing. And I felt like even if I had to go back, it would be maybe like as a consultant, or like just consult, or like just share what I know about it so far. But I think I'd made up my mind that I wanted to follow design, at least for the next couple of years, till I find something else that I want to do. Because like my brain switches and
I relate.
So yeah. So like the fact that I made up my mind kept me going basically.
Okay. That's very interesting. And if you started your when did you start your UBA job then?
So I started November 1st,
2020.
I think. Yeah, or November 2nd, the first year, because they gave me like grieving time between the 21st and that was just like...
It's like how many days? Bro?
Yeah, it was grieving time, I guess.
Thank you, man. Okay. So if you started in November 2020, you moved to London in 2021. When in 2021?
October 2021.
October 2021. So About a year was when you
Yes.
moved. So what happened within that year from starting at UBA to deciding to come study in England a year later?
Okay, I was working at UBA, but it was not the best working condition. That's the best way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to resign, and I was just like 4 months in. I was like, did I going to keep jumping up and down? What do you want to do? What do you want to do in your life and things like that? So, but I was like, I'm going to resign nonetheless.
Yeah.
I don't know the way I'm so fast to tell you the resignation when I'm uncomfortable.
Because like some people struggle with making that sort of decision.
I will go. Like if you. So okay, yeah. So I think around February. Yeah, February or January-ish. I think around February. I was just tired of UBA at the time, and I'd spent only like how many months, 4 or 5 months-ish. But I was like, no, that's fine. So I turned in my resignation. My design lead at the time was not happy about it because it felt like I was also young in my career, and to them it was almost like they were giving me a chance as well. And then I come in and I'm like, I want to leave. But for me, it was more than that. Like, yes, I really appreciate the fact that you're giving me a chance here, but like, I'm not happy. I can't. And I was also like seriously grieving during that period.
I can imagine.
You know, I would sometimes would be working till like 11 p.m. Yeah, and I can't go off.
That's not acceptable.
Yeah, because like, and we're just 3 designers in the entire organization at the time. And it was just very intense, and I was just not cut out for that kind of life at the time. Yes, so I resigned. I had no job. I just turned in a resignation, and yeah, I had like a month to leave, right? The India, whatever. Yeah, then in that 1 month, I was telling a friend that, I'm resigning, I'm leaving here, I don't want. And she's like, oh, there's a company hiring for a marketing role. I was like, okay, maybe I can try it again.
Try marketing again.
Yeah. So, but I literally did not really want to. But I was just like, so I won't be jobless. So maybe while I'm doing this and earning, I can, be finding another like product design job. So I went to their website and I saw they had a product design opening. So I just put in my application for a product design opening.
And this was the job where your friend was telling they were hiring for marketing?
Yes. So I put in for the product design opening. I told her like, I saw a product design opening. I'm no more doing marketing. I'm going to apply for the product design role. So she also told the person, because she knew somebody inside as well. So so the person told me to put in an application on the website. I did, and I got chosen. Like I did the interview process and I joined. Hired. Yeah, but I was hired as a solo designer because I was working solo. Imagine just like being still like fresh in your design career.
Yeah, this is barely how many months in your design career.
Yes, and now you're working for a
company
solo. So like that like brought me up to speed on time on a lot of things. I mean, I learned a couple of things at UBA. I learned a couple of things from Udacity as well. Yeah. I had done like in between. At some point, I was even doing content design. Like I was just, merging everything together. Yes. Then I was like, okay. I wasn't doing badly. I don't think I did badly. I mean, I was still grieving as well, even when I was working at Split, and it was quite intense. But I think the working conditions, they were better than the one at UBA. Yeah. I also had like more time to deliver on like a task, which was...
And you were also the solo designer.
And I was solo designer, so I got to make a lot of like decisions as well, and I liked that. Then I wanted to go for my master's, because...
Has your master's always been a plan in view?
Well, yes, but my plan was to actually come this year, 2022. 2022. Yeah, not 2021. But there was one time I took some time off in May last year, 2021, and it was just like a retreat for myself. And during that period, I was just like praying, talking to God, like I don't even know what's happening. I'm just tired, everything. And one midnight, Spirit of God just woke me up and told me to apply for my master's. But looking back, I had a vision board. On that vision, I did it in March. I did the vision board in March, not even at the beginning of the year. And I found 2 schools I wanted to do my master's in at any point, maybe like this year when I'm coming. And I had 2 schools. It was either University of the Arts London or Royal College of Arts, RCA. How I was going to fund that, I had no idea. But like, there were 2 good schools. I just checked their design syllabus and I think like, I think I would enjoy this. So I just put in my vision board. And when I got that nudging, I applied to UAL. And I had like interviews with this school because like they would interview you through the application process.
Okay.
Yeah, and I got in, I made my deposit, and that was how I came for my
You
master's.
came for your master's. That's amazing. So you came for your master's October 2021, meaning you had quit your job in Nigeria and you were coming here without a job. You're just coming to study.
Yeah, because I told them that I was leaving for my master's, and at the time someone else had left already. So they were like, oh, okay, I don't think we can have two of you. Seems like it's becoming like a norm. So like, you're gonna have to resign. It's like, okay, no problem. So I resigned. But I was still working October, I think a little into November as well. I was still rounding up and stuff.
And trying to clear stuff.
Yeah, when I was here studying. But like, it was very hectic, even that first month, trying to work and school.
And this seems like this is the second time you have done that. You did that when you were doing your uni school, and then now again. So I want to talk about your application process to getting admission at UAL. Yeah. What was that like? What were the things that you needed to provide to get to be accepted to study at
Okay,
UAL?
I think I put an application through the website. That was the first. I did my research. I put an application through the website. Then they got back to me that I had a conditional offer. I think through the website you write your statement of what they call it, your statement of application or something. I can't remember what it's called. Yeah, you put in your certificate from your BSc and things like that. The things you get to write. So I wrote it there while I was like transitioning to design, or while I was like applying for a design course, even though that's not what my undergrad says. Like I did like an entirely different course, something close to like the medical line, and I'm here
to do
yes, and also
design.
like presenting my CV to show that I have like experience in design. I've been working in design for some time, and I got in, and then they were asking for IELTS because I didn't write IELTS. I just put an application.
Yeah.
But I heard I don't have to write IELTS, so I was like, oh, okay, let me try to put in my JAM results where I had like, I think I had B3 in English or something. So I put that. Then I also got a certificate from my uni saying that I took all my courses in English language. So I used that and they
Instead of
accepted
IELTS,
it. Yeah,
yeah.
so I
I've
didn't
heard
have to
people do
write
that.
IELTS. Yeah.
Okay, that doesn't seem really tedious. As a
Yeah.
process.
Yeah, and it saved me 100k because how much were we writing IELTS at the time? Maybe about 100k as
100,000
well.
naira.
Yeah. So like,
So now you have moved to London and you are studying at UAL.
yeah.
And your course was for like a year.
It was 15 months.
15 months?
Yeah, 1 year and 3 months. I literally just finished like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Wow, congrats.
Thank you.
So you already even started working at JPMorgan before you even finished studying.
Yeah.
Wow, I have a lot of questions to ask. Okay, let's take it step at a time. So you moved here and you had to like clear things up at Split, and you were also studying at the time. So what was it like for you, living here? Now, this is not a living in Nigeria situation and working. This is living in England and working in Nigeria, Or, okay, you cleared that up. And so your first few months at school, after you had finished from Split, did you get another job, or how were you like sustaining yourself?
Oh my God, that's a very, very good question. Right. In my final months at Split, I was also working with a company called Zeal. I was on the content team, right? Like the content stroke marketing team.
Yeah.
Because like since I had experience and my friend is like the CEO, so it was like, Dede, you have experience in this. We worked together when I was at Kudi. He was the product manager. He was the product manager there.
Okay.
So like we had the relationship. So he brought me on the team. But like when I got here, 2 jobs and a master's. Wow, girl. So I had to resign from one. They had to let me go on one. So like Zilla was like, my friend was like, Dede, things are quite like, I guess like maybe like my manager at the time has spoken to me about my performance and how sometimes in meetings maybe I'm just not there. Cause
must have been a lot.
Yeah. So my friend was like, would I take some time off? Like he actually told me like, would I take some time off? And maybe when I feel like I'm in a better headspace, I can like come back and maybe like this time with even a proper contract and things like that. And I appreciated that approach, to be fair, because I'm sure it must have taken him a lot as well to approach me, given that like we have like a friendship.
Yeah.
Yes, but with business, you treat business as business, Yeah, so there was that. Then, so I didn't have any job and I had school. and I had fees to pay.
Yes, of course.
So I was trying to get a job. I was getting rejections. You know, it was a very, very adverse period in my life. And between, I think, December last year, I was so low. January this year as well, I was so low up until like February. And I was trying to get a job, and
Were they even saying anything like?
I was getting to like the second, third stages. Oh, I just wasn't getting the job.
That must have been very hot.
You know, there was one time I was at the Barbican with my colleagues. I think we went there for like a survey, and I just got like my last rejection. This job was my only hope.
Oh.
And I just sat down on the chair and I cried, and I was like, God, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to go back to Nigeria?
Like, fees are in view. Going back to Nigeria is also in view.
And see, you know, I couldn't even afford to go back to Nigeria. So it was either
an option. What do you think about it?
Yeah, so like right now, I'm just trying to move forward because like, I mean, I couldn't financially afford to go back to Nigeria. I couldn't financially afford to even book a flight back. I was like, dead as broke. And I was just like, what do I even do? Like, I applied to a company called Toggle. So, and in the UK, once you're on a student visa, you're only allowed to work 20 hours.
Yeah.
So like, it doesn't even matter what you try to get. Like, you're already limited by your number of hours, right? So I was like, okay, let me try to get a job in the EU, like in Europe, like Netherlands, Estonia, or like somewhere that's not the UK,
England,
so that I can work full time. And it's cool, since that's like my forte, you know.
Schooling and working at this point.
So, but like, I applied to a company called Toggle, Dede, and I still got rejections. You know, it was very, very hurtful. Then I applied to Greg's. So Greg's is like a breakfast shop here.
Yeah, no, Greg's. Interesting. What were you applying to do for them?
Oh, I was applying to work as a donut seller.
Wow.
I don't know what they call them. They call them team members, just retail team members. It was just so I applied to like just do retail. And I got in. So like I would work at Greg's. So like I was working at Greg's for some time, and I would get paid. So like the money was going. It wasn't a lot of money. It was like minimum wage, maybe like £11 per hour.
I can imagine it's even still limited to 20 hours.
And it's still limited to 20 hours. But that went somewhere as well. Sorted my fees. It wasn't a lot of money, but like it was covering
and you
what
were
it could cover.
sorting your fees yourself?
Yeah, mostly, to be fair. I mean, like, yeah, mostly.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Mostly.
I can imagine.
And it was a lot. It was very hectic. Like, do not recommend, because it's going to like drive you crazy. So like, don't do it. Don't do it.
But when people like see you now, they'll be like, are you sure I shouldn't do this thing that this girl?
It was a gamble, though. But like at the same time, there are times when I went back to God to say, what's going on? I didn't choose to come here at the time I came here, right? So like, I think maybe because I was also like working with God, I was able to go back to say like, this wasn't the plan.
Yeah.
What's up? I wasn't suffering in Nigeria. Why'd you bring me here to suffer? Because I wasn't suffering. Like I was okay, you know. And I'm here and I'm like trying to crack my brain and I was off social media during that period because like I just couldn't come on here to be smiling when my life wasn't going right. Like my life was going south, and I'm like, I didn't even want to see anybody's face. Leave me alone. I'm depressed. And I was actually really depressed at that time. The old weather as well. It was just a very gloomy period. But yeah, then what changed in it?
This when story the sun starts to shine.
Yeah, so I think it was in March. So like between this period, between December and March, I was working on my CV, working on my portfolio, working on my LinkedIn. Like I was putting things in order. So like, if you see my CV and everything, it's prim and proper.
I even messaged you. I was like, girl, well done.
Like, you know, the thing, and also like my masters also gave us the opportunity to partner with some companies. Like in the first semester was just getting to know everybody. It was a collaborative semester. The second semester, I think Culture Mile. So we had different companies. We had Culture Mile, Gumtree, IBM, BBC Sounds, so many companies.
Were they giving you guys like projects, or was it?
So like it's like they would come with a brief. So like there's a brief that we are working with, but like with the people from the company. So like it was like a very collaborative semester as well. So the fact that we got to do that for like 2-3 months was something credible as well. So like I had that, but I don't even think I don't think I'd even put those things on my LinkedIn yet at the time when a lot of recruiters were reaching out to me early in the year. I think it was just like, I think the latest I had on my LinkedIn at the time was still Split. Then around February, a couple of recruiters had reached out. I didn't respond because I wasn't ready. Then in March, I was just coming out of it fast. I was just like, God, what's next? I have paid my dues this 3 months, like just show me the way. And I was just like, okay, let me actually even respond to people on my LinkedIn that have been reaching out to me, and I had my CV and my portfolio. I even had like a calendar. So
your portfolio at this point was made up of your UBA work, Split work.
Yeah, my UBA work, my Split work, some of the things I did during my course as well. Okay. Yeah, so like nothing to. It was the work I did at these companies they were intense work as well. So like there were things that could get me the next thing, in all fairness. So I responded from recruiters. Then one was like, oh yeah, sure, and people from credible companies here were actually reaching out to me, like cool companies that you would want to work with, So I responded to them. Then this particular one from where I currently work, we got on a call and she moved me to the team, and it was like back-to-back interviews. It was about 5 stages, the recruiter inclusive, and every week they wanted me back. So it was like, she would call me, Dede, we want you again. Dede, we want you again. So I was like, okay. Then I was interviewing with this company throughout March into April. And that was when I signed my contract. I signed my contract in April. But I didn't resume until July.
Oh, I see. Why? Why did it take that long to resume?
So a couple of things. That was when I told them was my earliest to resume. I also wanted to like wrap school up because like the way the semester for my uni is structured, the first 3 semesters is like intense work, collaborating with companies, but the last semester, which is the one I just concluded, is for only dissertation. So I was like, okay, I can afford to do my dissertation while working, even though it will be intense, but I don't think I can afford to do other collaborative work while working. Yes, and the third semester I was going to wrap up in June. So I was like, okay, I'm available to start in July. And then I told the recruiter that I'm going to require a visa to start full-time, because if I'm going to start on a 20 hours visa in July, even though it's on holiday, I can work full-time. But by October, when I'm supposed to resume back to school, I'm going to have to like adjust to the conditions of my visa, and the company wasn't ready for that. They're like, no, we want you.
That's the company currently work?
Yes, wasn't ready for that. We're like, no, we want you on full time. We have a lot of projects. We have a lot of things we are working on. So so that happened. Then I got switched to my current visa. Yeah.
Congrats.
Thank you. I got switched to my current visa in July. Then I resumed in July.
Nice.
And then when the semester started, I was working and schooling again.
You need to think about writing something. I'm doing something about like how to teach you guys how to and work,
and fail at it woefully,
or succeed at it because you're doing that now.
Well, I wouldn't say I succeeded at working and schooling this time. It was a lot. Like, I'm not going to tell you how many hours I used to write my dissertation because you would come and shoot me. But like, let's just say I wrote it under a week.
But you finished now.
Under a week.
So it
under 3 days. But like, at least I finished. I did like the projects and stuff because like my course, the course I studied is very hands-on. So like,
and what was that course?
We had user experience design. I did masters in user experience design from University of the Arts London, and we have to come up with a prototype, not a digital prototype. You could, but like before that will be accepted, you're going to have to do a lot of convincing, right?
So it needs to be like a physical prototype.
Like a physical prototype. So like you have to create something from whatever, sounds, water, paper, the air, environment. Like it was a very weird course, basically. And I was like, what can I really do that's not going to stress me? Because I'm already stressed. Because like I was already stressed from work.
Was the dissertation a group thing, or did you do it in?
So I did it alone.
Okay.
Like, you can choose to like do it with groups, but like, who's gonna want to work with me when I'm not even available all the time? Like, I'm going to slow them down.
Yeah.
So like, I also didn't want to even do that to anybody, because like, let me just do this thing on my own so I can work with my time as well. Yeah. So I created something out of paper.
Nice.
Hoping I graduate. So like, yeah. So like, that was fun. It was intense as well. But like, I mean, I'm here now.
That's amazing. Now you work at JPMorgan and Chase. I don't think I know anyone that looks like you who works there. So you need to tell us what your typical day looks like. What does it look like when you wake up in the morning, when you have your meetings, you know?
I mean, it's a very diverse organization. I think one thing the company is very big on is diversity, right? My words also, like, they're mine. There are things I've noticed that doesn't reflect my employer or anything. I mean, pick what you want to pick from this, whatever. Yeah, so it's a very diverse place, right? I think when I put out my thing on LinkedIn, when I put out my... I'm not happy to announce, because I don't like that word, happy to announce. It's just so, so cliche.
Yeah.
So I put it out there on LinkedIn that like, oh, it's been a couple of months since I joined this company and stuff. And my recruiter left a comment there saying, our first black hire on the design team. But definitely not the last, something like that. Something around that. I should check it. So yeah, I'm currently the only black person on my design team. But not the only black person in the organization, of course, or even like the wider team. Yes, which is, I guess, like, it's a very diverse place. Like, I have like people from like different countries on my team, and I think currently I've just been so blessed because I work with like very pleasant people.
Yeah, you do sound like you.
I work with very
pleasant
people. My God, like, I really, really love my team. I love my manager. I love my lead. Like, I'm just really happy to be there, to be fair.
That's really, really good.
Yes, because I feel like it's a privilege to just have like a team of people that you like. I feel like if I wake up and something is going wrong and I blink twice to my manager, it's going to troubleshoot. Like, it's going to be like, Dede needs help. And they're going to like support me, basically. Like, I'm not scared to do wrong, or like, I'm not scared to like fail or say, oh, I have a question, because like, they're very supportive. Like, I feel like I sound so happy when I even say it, Seth. Like, I feel like I say it all the time, but like, they have my back.
That's amazing. I'm really happy that you feel that way about work.
And also maybe because my current lead is female, but like, they definitely have my back. So
That's
I'm glad.
Great.
Like, I think work is exciting. I'm not going to say it's not hectic, or it is, oh my God, it is so hectic.
It's also a really big company, so
yes, but it is. I wake up every morning and I don't feel like I've lost the vibe to pick up my laptop. And I think the company that I've worked at that comes very close to this work culture is Kudi in Nigeria. Because like, when I was there, I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. I wouldn't have resigned if they allowed me to like switch teams
from marketing.
Yes, I actually wouldn't have left. I wouldn't have left, but since like I couldn't. But every time I think about it, because I have friends from there that are still my friends now, that I would literally, even my manager at Kudi, like, he's my friend, you know. And I just feel like this comes very close to like where I currently work, where I just feel like you wake up and you say, thank you, Jesus. That kind of, that kind of thing. Yeah, so that's...
And you deserve it. You deserve it.
I've tried.
Quite a journey.
I've tried. I have tried. If I do say so myself.
Yeah, you have. I agree. So getting the job at JP, would you say there were any things that you did, whether at the time you were doing them, whether they were strategic or not, but you feel like helped you to secure that sort of offer when you got the offer?
Yeah, I think it was a case of opportunity meets preparation. Preparation, basically. If you're preparing for something and the opening comes, it's just like, it sounds like, when people say overnight success, but they don't see like your tears, your like downtime. I didn't have it December last year. I literally lost track of time you know, when you just wake up and you pick up your laptop and that's all you do. And like I wasn't even on social media, so I didn't even know what anybody was doing, which was good as well. Like I wasn't feel like I was missing out anything as well. So like I had prepared.
And what was those preparations that you did?
You know, listen to like different interviews. I was even like having like I found out I was also having interviews, right? But I wasn't getting the job. It was even like another preparation as well.
Yeah.
So I had gotten my rejections already. So like, and with interviewing, it's a skill.
Yeah,
like no matter how you choose to cut or dice it, it's a skill, right? Today when they ask you, tell me about yourself, and you don't get it right. Tomorrow when they ask you, you will get it right.
Because you
when they ask you another situational question today and you don't get it right, you would get it right. Like not, but these things are also like based off your experience. It's not to say that your experiences don't count, like because you're going to talk about the work you've done, but like articulating those things is a skill. That's why meaning by when I say it's a skill, right? So I was already getting that as well. When you sit down to write your portfolio, when you sit down to write the work you've done, you're also like reminding yourself of the things you've done in the past. You're even doing more research as to why you made those decisions if you can't remember them. So like you're even doing like a product design, like you're waking your mind up basically, for lack of like a better word. And then my CV as well, I would scan it through like different ATS system that available online. Like there's this one called Resume Worded that I recommend to like a lot of people. Like
Resume Worded.
Yeah. So like when you put your CV there, it will tell you the things you need to correct, where you need to add like metrics, where you need to add a bio. It will score your CV, tell you. And I also had like a friend or maybe an acquaintance here that was helping me as well through the process. So like it would go through my CV. I was sending my portfolio as well. It would go through it and tell me, oh, okay, this is what I would look for because it's a product design lead. This is what I would look for if...
It's okay. Do you want some water?
Let me have some drink.
Actually, I'm just listening to you.
Yeah, so it would help me as well to say if I'm trying to like get somebody into my company, this is what I would look out for and things like that. So I was making those corrections. I spent time.
Which was an investment.
Yes, which was an investment. Yes. Like, it took me about 2 to 3 months to even get those things right. So, like, and I did my portfolio on Figma. So, like, by the time I sent my portfolio, they weren't trying to assess my Figma skills anymore. Like, it's almost like, that's my portfolio, I designed it myself and it's on Figma. What more do you want me to show you?
This is a really important point because when I talk to designers about portfolios, I'm like, your portfolio is literally the first thing that says, I'm a designer, look at me here. And this is not to say you need to make it really complicated or, really fancy, but just show like you have the basic skill set that makes you a designer. So I'm really happy that you mentioned that as well.
Yeah, so I did it on Figma. It was... And I even had a couple of other recruiters reach out to me, like, because I put my stuff on angel.co, angel list. I was
well found.
I was everywhere. Honestly, I was everywhere because I needed a job. Like I didn't want like, I had to pick up Greg's, but I actually didn't want Greg's. Like I wanted a design job because that's my career. If I'm investing in my career, what am I going to say I did here? It's not even on my LinkedIn because it doesn't matter to my
the
career journey.
Scheme,
yeah. So like, but like at the time it paid a couple of things for my bills. So I guess it was quite an interesting part of my life as well because I also got to like meet other people from like within this city. Because I feel like another thing I realized is it's so easy to be caught up. Like you don't really know what it's like at the bottom of the food chain. Do you get what I mean? But like, I think that's like conversation for another day.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I think my final question for you today, because you've said so much, I'm so happy I've just been listening, would be if anyone who is watching this video, who is at the point where they are trying to make a decision, whether they should switch from one career path to the other, or if they want to move abroad and they're trying to decide whether they should come school, like what's one thing they should just take away from this?
I think you need to make up your mind. You need to be ready to do the work. Like, there is work to be done. Like, it's a lot. You need to count the cost as well. Because, like, financially, emotionally, the people it would cost you. Because it would cost you those things. That's the truth. right? So you need to like count the cost. I think another thing you need to do is you need to research. You need to look for the information, because like you can't do what you don't know.
Yeah.
You can't act on what you don't know. Like you need information. I think that's also like another thing I'm blessed with. Like I just know things. Like I know so many like beneficial. I just know, and somehow even information finds me. Maybe like when you're looking for something, like yeah. So you need to know. You need to speak to people. That's very important, because like stories are so different, right? And that's literally why this show is important, right? You need to like
thank you.
Yeah, you need to hear how other people are doing it. A lot of people say it's hard to get your stay here, it's hard to get a job, it's hard to get a well-paid job, things like that. Like, and you don't also want to be underpaid, like in another man's land.
Because you have bills to overpay.
So those are things you need to like ask yourself, like, are you really ready to leave Nigeria? Like everybody is leaving, but like, are you really ready? Because emotionally alone, God, I feel like that was where I almost lost it. So like you need to find out those things, right? And yeah, you need to pray. God will help you.
Yeah.
It's only God that can help you. It's only God, but like basically.
Great answer. So she said you need to know what it's going to cost you. You need to do your research. You need to speak to people and hear people's stories, and you need to pray. And I don't know how else to end this video with. From that, she has really said it all. And she also said something really important. You need to watch this show. So watch out for episode 3. And thank you for joining. Bye.